Call to order, Myrtle City Council, regular council meeting Monday. Roll call, please.
Mayor Lipton.
Here.
Councilor Diana Larson. Here. Councilor Rick Hell.
Here.
Councilor Kathy Rag. Here. Councilor Robert Chain.
Present. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No public presentations at this time. Correct. Citizens heard on non-agenda items. One.
Good afternoon, evening. My name is Ted Romas. I'm here representing the Myrtle Creek Tri-City Area Chamber of Commerce. Even though this event has been going on for more years than I can remember, the Downtown Halloween Street Fair is scheduled for Friday, October 31st. Traditionally in years past, except for the past couple of years, we've come to the council and just made a suggestion recommendation about closing off the downtown streets for that event. And I have a cover letter here that I'll give to the recorder, just since there's new people here, and maybe it's not an automatic thing anymore. So I just wanted to do the right thing.
Thank you, Tom.
What streets?
Basically, it's the downtown core,
First and second.
Second Oak, Main Street as a safe corridor. Police department is familiar with it.
Yes.
Thanks, Ted.
You're welcome.
All right, consent agenda, we have two. Consent agenda part one, approval of minutes for regular city council meeting for September 2nd, 2025. And part two, acknowledge receipt of payroll and claims report for August 2025.
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda, part one and part two. Minutes in the payroll and claims report.
Second. Any discussion?
Yeah, there's one thing on the minutes. Minutes, when we talk about the Imagine Myrtle Creek, that says SWAT, that's gonna be 18, that should be changed, whichever it is, then it says WOT. I don't want people thinking of SWAT team. To enforce something. Other than that, yes.
Any other discussion? All right, all in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All right, open council seat selection. Joanna can correct me if I'm wrong, but at this time we are going to ask all three of the applicants to step out one at a time. We're just going to order this list. So Gail will be first, Jamie, then Jessica. You'll come in. Council will stick to some questions. We have 8 questions that we'll ask each of you, and then maybe elaborate on those as we go along. And then at the end of that, we'll have you all come in. The council will deliberate. Right. So.
Would you like Gail to just stay?
Oh yeah, you can just stay.
Oh, I can go out. So I can stay another question.
Yeah, you just take. If you don't want, if you can sit up here, if you don't want, there too.
Yes,
That's easier that way, you don't have to go outside.
Right.
Big element here.
So, would you guys like me to just ask them, or do you guys want to?
I think it should go, each one of us should ask one of the questions and go that route, and then there'll be 3 questions left over. Each of us ask one, and then whoever else feels comfortable asking those. But
It's long, we ask the same exact questions to the person.
yeah, all the person, yeah.
It's fine.
All right, Gail, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for applying. Why are you interested in serving?
Well, I have served before on the council, and for a while here, I have gotten out of the loop of things that are happening in the community. And I broke a couple of hips, the only two I have, last year. And as I was recovering and being home a little bit more than I normally am or was, I thought, you know what? I need to get back into what's happening in our community to know what's going on. And being a part of it is really important to me. So I decided I would have to start being more aware of what was happening. I have spoken to several people who are either on the council or around. And so I know a lot of the stuff, but just talking to people and being a part of it are two entirely different things.
What has been your involvement with the city of Myrtle Creek, either serving on a city committee or otherwise?
Well, I have been a member of several organizations here in town. My husband and I moved here in '85, so I'm not a native, but I moved here in '85. We became part of the Elks and part of the Lions, and then when I became a part of city council, I took over a position, finished out a term, and then I ran for it and ran for 2 consecutive years on city council. And then I was on the budget committee, so I have served on the different committees and been a part of it. And I have not only enjoyed it, but I felt that I had good participation in what was going on, and that my word was considered as well as anyone else's.
What do you feel are the top 3 challenges facing the city today?
Continuing to expand and grow in our economic development programs. And I think that's our main thing, is that, and then continuing to serve the community with all that we have. We are a small community, but we have such good things in our community. And I think we'd like to see us continue to grow in that respect, and enlarge ourselves that way.
Okay, I added a little bit, is it okay if I added?
No.
a little-
Unless you do it sustainable.
It has to be the same for everybody.
I guess I can't now.
Well, that means if you ask that question of Gail, then you would ask that exact same question for the next 2
Yes.
candidates.
Oh, okay. I can manage that. Okay, it says here, tell us what 3 positive attributes makes the city of Myrtle Creek unique among Oregon cities. And then I added, and what, if anything, do you think Myrtle Creek's greatest potential could be? Not is, but could be.
I think the contributions of, that our city makes, along with the different organizations in town, is very important. It has been a big stabilization thing in our community. I feel that having a full-time police department, as we do, is very important. You have to understand, I came from a police background there, so that one means a lot to me. I think that our city, the way we look, the way we do things, our community activities that we do, we're well known throughout the whole area for what we do. And I think that's a big thing that's important to us, to continue with that. I can see as we continue to grow in that respect, that we could be a point for tourists to come to and be a part of. We have all these different activities that we do that are well known, and we participate in. And I think those are important things, to have a community have those things. People that are retiring, we get a lot of retired people here. I was retired when I moved here and became active in the community. But when you're retired, doesn't mean that you're just gonna fall over and do nothing. So having a town that has all of these things that you can become involved in makes it a lot more acceptable to people who are retiring. And they can bring a lot of new ideas as well to a community by coming in.
Do you feel you have the time, to take this position, which does include attending some meetings outside of the area from time to time for cooperation with other entities, such as Small Cities Group and others?
Yes, I do. I've held some positions where I've been doing a lot of traveling before, but most of those positions I have now completed. I'm still an active member in several organizations, have an office in them, but they don't require travel as much. So I do have more time. I've discovered that I have a lot more time at home now than I used to have. I'm always available. I have never had a problem with attending council meetings when I was here before. I would not have a problem with that. I would not have a problem traveling outside of the area. Hopefully it wouldn't be long, long drives. When you're my age, taking a long drive sometimes is a little bit difficult. I don't mind going to Portland or that far and over to the coast or whatever, or the different areas in our realm of where we would go for small cities programs. I just don't see myself going out of the state for anything, but yes, I could travel and would be willing to do so.
What makes you stand out among the other candidates? What special attributes, talents, and abilities will you bring to the city council?
Well, I don't know the other candidates, so I'm really not sure what my position against them would be. I feel that I am intelligent enough that I can look at things logically. I'm old enough that I can look at things logically and make wise decisions based on what I see, what I hear, and I listen to what people are saying and can grasp those things and determine a result from that. My health is good, even though my age is up there. My health now is good. And although I do walk with a cane, that I don't think has any problem for anybody. And I just feel that I am capable of doing this, of holding this position and making a difference in our community.
Did you consider running for council during the regular election in 2024? If not, why not?
No, I did not. At that time, I had served 2 years before. I mean, I'd served 2 terms. And at that time, I wasn't thinking about it. It was only after this situation occurred. And I thought, well, this might be a good time to get back into things and know what's happening more in the community. And this would be a good way to start out doing it.
Is there anything else that you'd like us to know? Like, do you have some more hips or anything?
No, I just know that I would enjoy doing this and I will congratulate whoever gets it. If it's not me, that's fine. I would hope it was me, but if the other, one of the other candidates is more qualified to do so, then that's wonderful and I congratulate them and I know that they will be an added asset to our council.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you, Gail.
That it?
Yep,
Okay, do you want me to step out or do I get to listen to the others?
you step out.
Okay,
Yeah,
will
would
do.
you send in Jamie?
Jamie, okay.
Just start back with you, and start. Take the hot seat.
For being here and for applying. Why are you interested in serving on the city council?
Well, I started coming to the council meetings about 3 years ago for an issue. And then I found it interesting and just kind of got invested in what's going on in our town and ways that we can, and things that we can do to make it better and grow.
Okay. What has been your involvement with the city of Myrtle Creek, either serving on a city committee or otherwise?
And from 2003 to 2012, I helped with the fire department as a spouse of a firefighter with different social events. I have been on the code review committee. volunteer for different events that happen throughout town, and then fairly regular attendance at council meetings of the last 3 years.
Thank you.
What do you feel are the top three challenges facing the city today?
Our administration and the open positions with people leaving all at once, but I think we're making good progress in changing, and Luke has filled in doing a great job as mayor. And so far Zach is interim as administrator, finding issues that had kind of gone under the radar or not being brought to the council's attention. Reading the agenda for today, apparently there was some missed payments for a pretty substantial amount that affects the budget and changes.
Can you speak more towards that decision of whole, you have anything there? Okay.
Oh, I don't, I mean, overall, I would like to see new businesses and a way to help promote new businesses and growth within the downtown district.
Thank you.
Can you tell us what three positive attributes makes the city of Myrtle Creek unique among Oregon cities, and what, if anything, do you think Myrtle Creek's greatest potential could be?
One of our best attributes is our location. We're conveniently located right off the freeway for tourism. And we have a beautiful downtown area, and some great parks. I would like to see new businesses to where we could become like a little Hallmark village, with some downtown businesses. Our Main Street is a beautiful area with the trees and when the Christmas lights are up. And we do great promoting like the wine walk and things to bring people into town. And our community support for when things do happen. People are really here for each other. They donate their time, whatever they can to help our citizens in time of need. Is that three?
That's pretty good. Pretty good job.
Do you feel you have the time to take this position, which does include attending some meetings outside of the area from time to time for cooperation with other entities such as Small Cities Group and others?
Yes, I do feel that I have time for that.
What makes you stand out among other candidates? What special attributes, talents, and abilities will you bring to city council?
Special talents. I feel, I don't know that it's special, but I feel that I can look at things with an open mind, and see both sides of an issue to do what's best for the community, not what's necessarily my personal opinion, whether I agree or disagree with it personally, what's best for the community. I don't know that that's special, but I do have a background in fundraising and grant writing to help with special projects and activities that I think could be helpful, maybe to Leslie.
Did you consider running for council during the regular election in 2024? And if not, why not?
I did consider it, but I had a child graduating from high school and she's an athlete and I didn't want to miss her senior year of sports, which she was a basketball player, so that ran from October to February and I wasn't willing to miss my kids' things for this.
Is there anything else that you'd like us to know?
I appreciate your time and I think you guys are all doing a great job with some of the challenges that you have had to face in the last few months. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you. I will get Jessica.
Just happy not to be sitting there.
Welcome, Jessica.
Hey.
Thank you for being here and thank you for applying. Why are you interested in serving on city council?
I have a strong attachment to Myrtle Creek. I believe that, it has a lot of potential. And I believe it is wonderful as it is. And I just want to be a part of making it, more vibrant and have it come to life and make it, a little bit more of what, the community sees they want as a whole.
What's been your involvement with the city of Myrtle Creek, either serving on a city committee or otherwise?
I am currently in the mural committee, which formed a couple months ago. I am also a board member at the, Chamber of Commerce as well. Been on that for quite a while.
What do you feel are the top three challenges facing the city today?
It's a hard one. From what I've seen so far, there seems to be a lack of, community togetherness between the city and, the chamber and the Main Street Association, and there's a lot of different ideas that people have. And I'd love to see it come together a little bit more. I think there's a lot of things that, the city as a whole has been really responsive on. And then there's some things that I've heard the community say that they feel they wish, there was more response on. And being that I'm in retail, people come and speak to me quite a bit, and so I just want to be the bridge in what the community is saying and what the city wants as well.
Can you tell us, what three positive attributes makes the city of Myrtle Creek unique among Oregon cities? And if anything, do you think Myrtle Creek's, greatest potential, what could Myrtle Creek's greatest potential be?
Well, I call Myrtle Creek a hallmark town because it feels, just like a family. And I see that a lot when things are tough. I see that a lot with, different community members pushing for different events that support, all kinds of stuff from, the firefighters to human trafficking and stuff like that. There's just such a willingness to help.
You feel you have the time to take this position, which does include attending some meetings outside of the area from time to time for cooperation with other entities such as small cities groups and others.
to answer that quite honestly, I do not want to waste anybody's time. But in the last 2 weeks, it has become apparent to me that, I do not have enough, employee support or employee coverage to, do all of the things that I am trying to do. And that is a concern that I have. Being quite honest.
I think it'd be important to have leverage. Like, how do you feel? Do you feel like that's gonna be a problem for time, long term?
Honestly, I feel like it's a short-term problem. I do. I just wanted to voice that to you guys, because I know that there are other people who really want this position as well, and I do want it. That is just a concern that I have. The school starting has been extremely difficult for my 7-year-old, and so that has been difficult for my entire family, as well as yeah, some lack of employees in my store specifically. So
That's big unknown.
yes.
What makes you stand out among other candidates? What special attributes, talents, and abilities do you see yourself bringing to succeed?
I do feel, because I am involved in so many different organizations right now, that I can take a little bit from everywhere to try to, from there, build an idea of what I personally think could improve things. What is it?
Okay. Did you consider running for council during the regular election in 2024? And if not, why not?
I did not. It was not on my radar, and I definitely did not have the time then. I was, for a long time, building my business and then dealing with some things and then building another business. So it's been quite busy. And I have found that I have had more free time since the second business has opened, but it's, yeah, only until very recently that it's gotten a little bit more chaotic.
Not really,
Yeah.
it'd be tough having a business and kids, I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you'd like us to know?
That no matter what, I thank you guys for your time, and I, no matter what, will be still coming to city meetings and participating, and, I still have a strong attachment to making Myrtle Creek even better than it is now, which is wonderful now.
Thank you.
You guys, you can take a seat, we'll bring the other ones in.
You want me to call them in?
Oh, yeah, if you want to start with something, actually. Yep.
Yeah, before it was there, we left the candidates out of the room, you can deliberate and then brought them in.
Oh, so you want to look.
Whatever, I think whatever we did, when you three went through the same process, we need to stay.
So don't sit down. We're gonna ask you to all but three to leave the room. We deliberate.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think I answered the question, but.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I thought we had everyone come in.
You know, it was deliberated, we were outside the room, they deliberated, and then we came in, they announced.
But
Go
it's
back.
not that
That's
it's-
They could be walking around, one of the very ones who are.
I'll just say I'll say what I would like to say, and I'm the one who encouraged Jessica to apply. I feel like also Jamie, I'm kind of torn between the two of them. I think Jamie brings, she had being involved in the co-review board, I got to watch her work and she did really well. She was really good about researching and doing the things.
Yeah, thorough. She was-
Thorough, yeah, she's very thorough. I liked, the reason why I like Jessica is because she even talked about, she's on chamber. She's in that bridge, I think there's a disconnect, I see that too, it's from communication, there's a disconnect between some of the organizations, but now I can see them. Kind of come together and all support each other and be able to make more great. You know, there's a lot, I think there's a huge potential to that, right, you know, obviously for calling about time, something that we gotta consider. I don't know what that looks like, kind of unknown, but I don't know if that's deal breaker or not, but I think it's something that you just gotta talk about, it. I know those are my thoughts.
We do have another election coming up too, in 26.
Yeah, totally, yeah, and I mean, that happened to me, I mean, and you, we didn't get it when we came in, we just, got in the election.
Right.
Around, so that's always something, especially like, you know. I don't wanna say this and like, just, you know, disqualify her or anything like that, but Jessica, like, you know, maybe by then she would have more time, but I don't wanna say that. That means that she could do it well now, I mean, that speak to that, so I feel like that's hard, yeah.
And I think as the kids get older, your time gets taken up a lot more. It seems like they get involved in more and more things. It
Sure.
doesn't get better
Yeah.
for a long time. But
And I don't wanna, you know, discriminate either, but I do, I guess this is probably discriminating, but I feel like having, bring some youth to the council and I could see.
But then like Jamie, you know, that's why she didn't run because she had an older child that was going through sports. So that's what I'm saying, that I don't want to discriminate against women and working mothers or anything that at all, but it is a lot of your time.
Yeah.
That you really have to juggle. And I went through it, you know. Get into as many meetings as I could. I wasn't on the council, but I wanted to, you know, be there. It wasn't easy. But there's also wisdom in age, somebody that's been through a lot of it, doesn't have to relearn things. And that's something that I found on boards when new people come in, a lot of times they want to try the things that we've already tried. And it's, you know, trying to explain, you take time in the meeting to explain why it didn't work. But, so that's just an argument in favor of an older person rather than somebody that's new. But then a new person would have maybe new ideas, because times change. Why do we know that?
I think many hiring boards that I've sat on it, it's very hard to sit in that chair. You're so nervous.
Yes.
You're not really knowing what to say, saying, hey, you all the time. So, Jamie did seem a little nervous, but she did have some good answers. And I understand that she's saying now that her kids are out of school, she can devote the time to it. Jessica, really good, but I think she was completely honest with us when she just said she just doesn't have the time for it. And if she doesn't have the time for it, I kind of hopefully good with you is let her get some more time, and then in the next election, maybe she'll be more ready to do it. I think she's capable of it. I agree with you on the wisdom, go either way, so that count both of them as good applicants, but to me, what stands out a little bit more, Jamie is, since I've been noticing, she has come to a lot more of the meetings. So she's getting very, and she's just coming off the co-review, they also got a lot of input in that.
She did do a real good
So
job.
she did a good job on that, and she has been coming to more of the meetings, so. This is my opinion on that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna chime in here and say that I really liked Jamie's, some of the responses to the questions. She's obviously got, quite a bit of experience dealing with the public. I know the whole rodeo thing. I like when she said that she likes to look at issues, on both sides, you know, whenever, you know, that is, and likes the idea of finding a consensus is what I was feeling like she would do, which is, I think, because of everything that's happened in the last 6 months with flood and with our change in administrators, I think that's exactly what we really need, someone that, you know, is able to just be a big support system for us right now, and I think she has those kind of qualities, so. That's my 2 cents on that.
Mr. President?
Well, setting all biases aside, as most of you know in this room know that Gail and I are very good friends. And so setting biases aside, I don't have a problem with Jamie. I think that maybe there is some youth needed for the council. But and I would feel that it would be biased on my part if I was to lean in favor of Gail. Even though that's probably where I would go, but I have no problem with Jamie. I think Jessica, in what she said, set herself apart, saying that I'm not ready. That was my takeaway from that, is at this time, I'm not ready, I don't have the time.
That's nice honesty.
Yeah, the honesty was fantastic. And I was so hoping that she, you know, because she has done a fantastic job on the board of directors for the chamber. And she has a bright future ahead of her.
She'd be a good resource for the business part of it, with the businesses.
So I'm okay, Mr. Mayor.
So. Do we do a vote? I know we want one to come in.
It's a
Do we do a
consensus,
motion?
consensus.
Okay, we want to make it consistent. Okay, do we make that consensus now, then?
Yeah, and bring them in.
So. Do we have a consensus? Sounds like we might.
We do.
I think we do.
Jamie?
Yeah.
I would say.
Then. Okay. Right.
Will someone open that door and ask the three others to come in, please?
You want to turn in?
Yes, because all I have is.
We write something down.
Before we get formal, I would like to say with all three of you, three of us up here have been in that hot seat before, we know what you went through. So thank you for taking that time and putting that effort forward. It is not easy to sit in that chair, so thank you.
Agreed, yeah, thank you for applying, thank you for one that are participating on the council. I think we all are looking forward to that, making Myrtle Creek, you know, better than what it is, and has a lot of good potential. We love it. It is kind of a home run. A couple of you guys said that, kind of feel to it, so we're excited for that. So we hope that if you are not accepted here today, that, you know, there's an election next year. Hopefully you guys will choose to kind of maybe participate then. With that said, does somebody want to make a motion? I assume that's right. Yes.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we appoint Jamie McNamara to fill position number 4 of the city council.
I second that.
Any discussion prior to vote?
I appreciate when you guys come in, and I'm glad that you're supportive of the city. I hope you stay. I know you will.
And hope to see you at more meetings too.
And Jessica would like to reach out to you as a business owner.
And my congratulations to Jamie.
Thank you.
All all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Alright, carries. Jamie McElmurray, you are. City council, you can take your seat. Oh, yes, where you get sworn in.
Oh, we're doing pictures too, Bob?
Oh, you got front page, baby.
Raise your right hand and place your left hand on the Bible. Repeat after me. I, Jamie McElmurray,
Go ahead, keep doing that.
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the state of Oregon
and the state of Oregon
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Myrtle Creek,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Myrtle Creek,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties as a city councillor
discharge my duties as city councillor
during my continuance there.
during my continuing service.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Congratulations.
I need to slow down.
You don't have to sign. Okay.
Alright. Now we're moving into department report. Finance officer report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'd like to submit my written report for the financial activities of the record, and I'm willing to answer any questions you may have. I do want to point out, I did make a change. I'll get to it. Where's the payroll and claims? 30.
Oh, my one claims is in the.
Oh, number 8.
page. That's the
Sorry.
first.
So on the payroll and claims, Diana mentioned when we did the urban renewal, that was way easier to read because it listed everything out. So this is basically the same that it was. I just added a line of revenue so you can see what was coming in for each department and what was going out for each department. A little bit easier to read, even though it's the same as the reports down below. And there's the urban renewal, so they're on urban renewal.
On the EPA grant, why is that listed under bills? I don't understand that.
Why is it listed under bills?
It says bills, under bills.
What are you,
What page?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Page 8,
Page 8, and
70.
page 8.
So there's revenue, so the EPA grant is a reimbursement grant, and so we have to spend money to get money. So. And then just because we might have spent it the month before, we didn't get reimbursed for it until the next month.
Okay,
So just kind of how things roll on through.
okay, I get it, thank you.
Any other questions for Leslie? Alright, police department report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to submit my report as written, answer any questions you have. And then also, let council know the side of my report, that patrol vehicle, the patrol car that we were trying to auction off is finally gone out of our hands. We went to government deals auction which worked out pretty good. They actually don't even charge us. They charge the buyer a percentage fee. We put it up as a patrol vehicle. I think we got it for like 60 some hundred in the bid. I didn't think that was good enough, so I chose not to accept the bid. I did some work to the vehicle, which was dismantling it, taking the decals and stuff off, got my fingers all burned, and anyways, we put it back up to bid, open to the public. It went for $9,500, so that's what the city received. Leslie just let me know today that the money is in the account. It was picked up last week, and the buyer emailed me, was very happy with it, who is back in Michigan to receive the vehicle. So, yeah, that's finally gone. And then also, the chaplain, Pablo, you can see in the report, he got sworn in. He's loving it. He's actually doing ride-alongs with the officers. That's going really well. So I think he's gonna be a great asset to the department, the officers, and the community. Hopefully it won't happen, but we know those things happen sometimes, that his needs will be there.
How often is he down here?
He's been coming in about once a week right now, writing shifts with the officers.
Or you have any requirements on hours for him?
No,
Get your check from the family.
we did, so
Okay.
let me know that also, that the city was, reimbursed for the Pioneer State Security.
That's probably on next week's or next month's report, but somebody got robbed at the Columbia Bank.
Yeah, so that's an open case right now that I can't give any discussion or details on that, but
I
we're just,
did see they used the canine,
yeah,
but I think they used a car.
so we were openly investigating that right now.
Thanks. Next month.
Hopefully.
I think it was an inside job. Anything else for Brewster? Fire department report.
Hey, Mayor, Council, submit my report and answer any questions.
Do we know those cars an electric vehicle?
I did have a big fire this morning, it was on
Oh,
electric vehicle.
sure enough, there's two more, and they weren't to work.
No. That one this morning, he came off the freeway and, he knows it's on fire, and pulled off the park branch as best they could and built. And it burned up pretty good.
Diana, I almost feel like you were hoping. We don't wanna hope for
No, that's the narrative that the gas companies want to put out there, those things just spontaneously ignite, and we need to know how many of them we have, so that we know if we need to buy a blanket or not.
Yeah, blanket is, right now, they try and second guess, but blanket really, it extinguishes right at the moment. As soon as you take it off, it ignites back up.
Right.
So, and we are in the process with, we'll just put water up underneath the unit and cool the batteries off. You know, if they ever have one, so get this little unit that you can slide underneath the car. And the water spray up underneath it, so cool the batteries down. Ain't gonna put it out, but it's gonna cool it down enough that, you know, eventually. It's one of the things, but still takes a lot of water to do this.
Right, but with a gas car, it doesn't, it's not like you save the car.
No, it's pretty much up all electrical wire and all that stuff, it's pretty much it. Electric cars the same way, once they start going, I mean, it's just hard to put out, and you can't put it out with all the batteries. But the gas one, you can eventually get it put out. We had that one out, it was fully involved, we had that one out now.
Okay.
You remind me of that UTL, where it is?
And they moved to locate. I think these people that say they had a car wreck, mostly their phones. And you get there, there's nobody there, no phone, no nothing, but the evacuation, or the phone's been evacuated for, not evacuated, but for a 911 call. For a wreck. Yeah. Yeah, so you get quite a few of those, and then someone says there's a fire so far down the road and stuff, and you go down there and there's nothing there.
And that's the fire canceled.
Council, when you, it's like a wreck or something, and then it's not that bad, it's bad a wreck, and the cops can take care of it right away and cancel that. Or we go to, house fires, you know, mutual aid, and they've been taking care of it themselves, so they cancel it and stuff.
And the public safety, those, what are those?
Public safety can venture water leaks.
There's 8 of them.
Yeah, there were about 4 water leaks last month or so that we had that they called us, and really, they're not supposed to, but I do, eventually I call back and say, hey, you know, you got a water leak down here.
Really? So they call you?
Yeah.
Water.
They called
They
dispatch.
should be calling us, and I don't know why they changed that, because our officers are on duty 24/7. They shouldn't be getting called out of their house at 2 o'clock in the morning. Our guys should be able to go check, say, yes, it's a water leak, and then have them contact Public Works.
So are these 911 calls that are being routed to the wrong?
Well, dispatch says, well, that's the list they go to, and I said, well, we need to get it changed, and, you know, there's no sense calling this out there, because immediately I call them. And yeah, like he said, in the middle of the night, there's no sense us calling when he's got a guy on duty.
So it's something that has to be straightened out through the dispatch.
Dispatch, yeah.
56 incident, isn't that a little high?
8 of them.
56.
Yeah, that's what I counted up here, and that's what you told us.
Oh, for public, yeah.
Well, it's pretty high, isn't it?
Lift assist.
Yeah,
You got a lot of that lift assistance inside there, so. And they throw that in there and stuff, but yeah, public says it's just about anything, you know. Like we had that lady that got stuck on top of the hill. Well, she wasn't really stuck, she decided to come down by herself. So that's, yeah, pretty much that's what they covered.
I just thought 56 calls is like a little bit high number.
Yeah.
It
For
is
the year,
close.
it's not fixed.
Down.
The total for the month,
Total for the year, total calls.
no, that's for the
It's
month,
the highest.
that's the month.
Yeah.
3 years, 300.
21. If it was 56 for the year, that'd be great.
We are kind of up there, for getting a lot of calls this year too, for above normal. But, medical, ambulance, I wish we could fix that, but I don't know how, but a lot of times they get a call and said somebody, if it's a CPR in progress, that's no problem, go there. But a lot of times the people call, this last guy we had, he just wanted his pain medicine. He couldn't get to it, and so they called us out, and the ambulance showed up. You know, there's no reason for us to be there, so the ambulance had said, I don't know why he called us, and nothing we did. Plus, there was a mean dog there, and maybe that's what they wanted, to take care of the dog first or something. So, but yeah, it's stuff calls like that, that just BS calls and stuff. So,
Thanks, Manny.
well, I do have one other thing too. I talked with Rick and Kathy. We're gonna try to change, the ordinance here, 2.05.030. It's about election of officers and stuff. I like to get it down as just go every 5 years. It's not an annually thing. So I talked to those two about it. And somehow I gotta figure out what's the right way to go about that. And so that way the election, it's chief will be between these two and me. So that's the head of fire management. And so.
Everybody, so you're talking about, so for the fire, you wanna change?
No, this election officers, they annually use. We usually, this is what they have here. I gotta get this changed and then I gotta change the bylaws for my fire department.
Okay.
So, but I gotta get this changed first to get it going. And then all the other fire departments, they have a board to elect their officers. And officer or chief, that's it. The chief works everybody else. And that way the chief knows what he's got, not elected by the membership. And that's where you get a lot of conflict right now, and a lot of ways we're doing it, it's not legal too. So we gotta change a lot of things like that too. That's way it makes it a little bit easier. We go to 5 years, your chief's got more of a chance to get things going the right way and getting things moving.
You were gonna get that road up like we discussed at the last commission.
Yeah, I gotta get that road up there and bring it to you guys.
You remember what section that is again?
2.05.030.
Yeah.
If you said you want that change to be an election 5 years. If you just write up what you need, I can put that into an ordinance to present to council. We would need to do a public hearing because it's a legislative amendment in our code. But it's just an ordinance that goes through the process through council.
It's just that the other departments, they all got board members, the board elects officers, but it's every 5 years. You know, like Ray Brown, he just retired from Candyville, he was there 35 plus years. And never, not won an election, they just kept it going. So, it's just, that way it kept things, same people, you know, he changed all the time. His fire department changes, and it's not good to change.
Yeah, that'll be an easy.
Okay.
How did, I know we discussed it on fire commission, meeting, but how do you decide 5 years? I mean, we're all on a 4-year term, the mayor, all of us.
It could be 4 years, I mean, whatever you guys wanna think.
I'm just wondering.
Just want some continuity,
Yeah,
some extended period of
yeah,
time.
it's extended period of time, so it gives like, the chief a little bit more time to get things moving the right way, and so it takes a while.
Yeah.
I've been in there for probably about 5 years now, and still got stuff to do and stuff to move. And just working with volunteers is the biggest thing. Trying to get people going and stuff, it's just, volunteers not there. It's a good thing we got mutual aid for our fire department, that helps out a lot. So, that's something I like to get changed, but like, Joanne says, oh, try to get something written up, stuff, and whatever, the legal channel. Yeah, that's what I was figuring to try to do and stuff. Then I got my bylaws, I got in my fire department, I got to change a couple of things in there too.
And I just need the gist of what you need to, I don't need you to write the ordinance, just a note on a sticky of what you want.
Okay.
Bringing up the code review.
Maybe
form.
write it up.
I didn't.
Is Jamie gonna be able to continue on?
So we won't go and take that back to code review board.
Yeah, that's expanded.
I don't think,
No, they still have a meeting on it.
No.
Oh, really?
well, I haven't canceled it depending tonight, so. Gonna,
Yeah.
Stay. No, we're not done today.
Okay.
So then in the long run, I think it's really gonna help the fire department, if we do something like that, you know, and we do vote on members in the fire department itself, but that's not the legal way we're supposed to do it. It's discrimination against the members, for the guy you voted in.
Yeah, we'll do it, which right.
Yeah, we gotta find a lot of things, there's a lot of loopholes that I didn't know about, so.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it, fighting car fire.
All right, public work forms report.
Evening, Mayor, Council, would like to submit your report into. What is the parentheses on the water? It says 7 in parentheses 35 is 35 year total or the turnoffs, the people that we shut off for that last month. But it says
So what's
7.
that?
They're 7 on 35. Okay.
So there was 35.
basically, we need to.
That was 35.
Was it?
Oh, very much.
That's about normal, no, fine.
That's not
Fine.
Yeah, that's not it.
What's normal?
10 or 12.
Okay.
We used to be in the third, like the high 20s and 30s regularly. We made some changes about the time of the month that we do it.
Right.
It really didn't count as fun. It was just a lot of.
Yeah, I thought I remember those changes, dropped that number quite significantly, so now.
On that, I don't know, if I've not really seen on there, this is the time to ask it, but, how's alcohol going? Have we been using them, or is there any issues, or?
We haven't had anything.
We haven't had anything we needed to discuss with them.
Any other questions for Zach? Okay, move to regular agenda. 8.1 dispatch fees.
Thank you, council. So tonight, I'd like to bring before you, was notified back on August fifth, from Under Sheriff Brad Odell that the county informed him that the city had not paid dispatch fees for the first and second quarters of the 22-23 budget year, and then also the third and fourth quarters of the 23-24 budget year, and then the fourth quarter of the 24-25 budget year. So I went back, researched some things, got with Leslie, and give you kind of a background of how we receive the bills and how we pay the bills, but went back and got with Leslie to try to find any records of where we received these invoices or made these payments. Leslie was able to find that we'd actually made the payments the first and second quarters of the 22-23 budget year. But we couldn't find any records showing the other 3 quarters of dispatch fees. So the other 3 dispatch fees that we can't find any records where they were paid or any invoices leaves an unpaid balance to the county for $49,877.91. Basically, the way that they do their billing is they send an invoice in the mail. It comes to, the mail's picked up either by with Lonnie, or I think Joanna, you would go get the mail. Stuff is put in our box. I receive that invoice. When I look at the invoice, I get it, I put the line item it comes out of, to put it into the basket, which is the invoice basket, for it to go to Leslie and be paid. I know I reached out a few different times to then Under Sheriff Jeff Freeze regarding not receiving dispatch invoices. I need these invoices, especially after the city kind of changed the budgeting a couple of years ago to where if anything wasn't paid before the end of the budget year, it couldn't be back paid. So we're at the point where we have no record of where we paid these 3 quarters of $49,877.91. So it sounds like we owe the Douglas County that money. I want to turn it over to Leslie. We've been talking between her and Zach and I about how this can be paid. So I'd like to turn it over to her and she can discuss with you what she's came up with.
So I called and spoke with, the Under Sheriff's secretary, I think. And she basically said, because I was, you'll find out why I was stressing out a little bit, but, she said basically we can pay the back ones, leave a little bit remainder, whatever we have remaining at the end of this fiscal year, carry it over to next fiscal year. We can budget for whatever we need to next fiscal year and have everything cleaned up by July for them. So
I think what that would be coming out of is what we budgeted for this 25-26 budget year, we would use to pay the back payments. And so we would get that back payment of the 49,000 and something paid off. We'd still be able to pay a remainder, or a portion of the 25-26 dispatch fees for this current budget year, but there would be a gap because we used the 49,000 of that to pay the past balance. So then in February, March, when we do our budget for the 26-27 budget year, we would budget extra to pay the 25-26 budget year. I hope that's not confusing.
That makes sense. So are you saying that we couldn't find the invoices, but I understand that you went through the accounting program and you saw that there was no.
we searched, Chrissy and I searched everywhere we possibly could.
And can that, and we were invoiced, they said that we were invoiced?
They said that we were.
Well, yes and no. So there was some email, and so this, I don't believe this is coming from the sheriff's office. I think it's some other place in the county that's finance that sends the billing and stuff out, right?
Yeah, third party.
Right, they send it out for all departments of the county. Under Sheriff Odell had sent me some emails, somebody, I know who this person is, works somewhere in the county, had said something that they had reached out to the city because they hadn't been paid an invoice, but there was an issue where the county was actually sending the invoices to the physical address instead of the PO box, and it may got returned. Well, nobody reached out to me, and I've been in this position for over 6 years. There's never been an issue, and we've been with dispatch in the county since 2005, I believe, and they've been sending our invoices to the PO box. So I don't know how all of a sudden it magically got changed to the physical address instead of the PO box, and then, but regardless, I don't,
Right.
any invoices I get, do what I'm supposed to do and send them there. And I know, again, I reached out, I spoke with the undersheriff who's retired now, and he clearly remembered our conversations, me reaching out to him of, we need to get these invoices because they have to be paid before the end of the budget year.
And this won't have been caught in the audit.
We had, no, not necessarily, because it's an unpaid invoice, they would have paid invoices.
I'm changing the process to
Yeah.
where this isn't gonna happen again. I'll take some blame for this. I have some things, what I call contractual services, where we contract with companies like Lexipol, Police One, things like that. And what I do is, I have a thing and I have it each year, it's on my computer, it's saved on my personal stuff. Every time I get the invoice, I just click the date I get it, I get the amount. And then I know when I go to budget for the next year, if they say, yeah, we're gonna increase it 4%. First of all, I know it's paid, and then I know what the 4% is gonna be on that. So I've had a dispatch of that. I've also requested that not only do they send those invoices by mail, the snail mail like they have, but they also email me the invoices, because typically that's how I get email or invoices from most places, is through the email.
And it should come with a confirmed receipt.
Yeah.
That way there's always a tracking
Right.
mechanism.
Right.
So I don't understand why is it an actual invoice and they have
Yes.
no record of that?
I mean, it would be a paper invoice that they would send us, that they sent us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
and we-
don't have any record of that?
They have record of the invoices.
They have record of
it.
we don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because you think about it,
But I mean, in order to pay this 49,000, they need to send us.
well, and they're saying they did. I mean, and we received. Oh, we have the new ones. The
Oh, you
ones,
do?
we do have the ones, yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
emailed them.
Either here or there, we owe the money.
Yes, yes, and it's gonna get paid, and we're just gonna add a little more the next year to make up for what we're not able to pay.
The thing is, it was budgeted, it just didn't come out of budget, and now we can't go into this budget and pay for something from last year's budget. Or
Or 2 years.
beyond that.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they didn't, call you again after not receiving.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, we're talking for a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I just don't understand.
again,
that.
I don't know what their operations are. I don't know what took them so long to discover that. they
Yeah, I don't
decided to make
know,
these
but
payments, but-
I mean, it's pretty bad.
I mean, we're obligated.
That's-
Right.
But it doesn't sound like we're the only problem.
No, I'm saying it's their fault, that they should have done more.
Yeah.
Well, you see the thing,
Whether or not it's their fault or not.
Right, Leslie was able to.
Oh,
find-
I'm sorry, we'll just write this out.
Right, I think how Leslie was able to find the two that they said we didn't pay, that we paid, is she was able to go into the bank account and electronically digitally see that
Mhm.
this check was paid to them for, this for this invoice
Yeah.
number, so.
That's
Yeah,
good,
and it was I mean, I looked in Springbrook, I confirmed in the bank account and
yeah.
that those were, I mean, the other ones weren't there.
They were found that.
Yeah, and because I spoke to we figured out this is the best solution.
Then the county's gonna work with us and
Yes,
say,
in other
we're
words,
all
yes.
the money out.
Yep.
Yeah, since it's not just.
Yeah, because the way they're supposed to bill it out is through quarters, so we go into the new budget year starting July 1st, so it should be July, August, September, so I should be receiving a bill at the beginning of October for the July, August, September, and then on and on for the 4 quarters of the year.
Okay. So we need a motion to use current year's budget funds to pay for prior year's balance.
I think this was more of a notification, versus, it's a contractual agreement that we already have, it's a bill that's already due. I think it was just keeping you in the loop with what's.
Transparency.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think after I submitted this on the agenda, Leslie, and I think maybe Leslie and Zach had kind of talked, and when I came back today, because I've been on vacation, she had told me that this was kind of the idea that she had, and then she reached out to the county. So that's kind of why the motion thing is there, this is kind of
We
figured
rolled
out.
over many different ideas on how to come up with this money, so.
Okay, so,
Accounting.
okay, so we're gonna motion, we just use the funds that we have for the current budget to pay this guy. And we'll just Just that's usually, okay. Any other discussion, questions? Move on. 8.2, police radios.
So my lucky night again, Council. Mayor, apologies. So we know that this new transition was coming for the last few years. The county public safety communications radio systems are failing. I've talked to this, to council before, and some are new on the council, so I don't know if you know this. But the county's been, trying to obtain grants and replace the communication system to towers, because it's just old, outdated, failing. They'd gotten a grant, federal grant. And the initial plan was, they were changing the law enforcement system to go from VHF to UHF, and it's gonna be digital trunked, which means it's gonna be encrypted. So everybody, there's gonna be probably a lot of upset people, but people with scanners aren't gonna be able to listen to the police radio traffic anymore. The fire and EMS, you will be able to, this is gonna still continue on VHF. So since the police side of it's going to P25 UHF encrypted, the current radios that we have, portables, car radios, they don't work on that system. That's why the last few vehicles that we bought, I bought new radios for the cars that are capable of both of that. We were told that the system was gonna go live around March of 2027. So our plan was this next budget year, we were gonna be budgeting for it and buying the remainder of the car radios that we needed, and then the portable radios that we needed to be able to go to the new system. Late June of this year, during an admin meeting, all of us agencies were informed that the county had went with a contractor for the bid, and that they didn't believe they were gonna be a lot of the extension on the grant to go to 2027. So the system is gonna go live in January of 2026. The county sent out a letter, which I attached to your packet, in July of this year, informing that the new system has been moved up to the January of 26. So that put everybody kind of in a bind, because we'd all budgeted and budget committees and stuff approved everything in April, I believe, or May. And so we're kind of in a pickle in regards to, we have 2 currently installed car radios that will work on the new system. I have 1 brand new one in storage that's ready to be installed. And so I need 8 portables and 3 more car radios. So I reached out with some bids. I reached out to Complete Wireless Solutions for the 8 portables and the 3 car radios with installation. And I also reached out to Motorola. Complete Wireless Solutions gave me a quote, which is here, of $78,422.62 for all of that. Now that was a rough estimate in that bid for the installations, because they just know what the vehicles are, but he doesn't know the current status of locations of what his tech would have to, remove and things like that. So that was a rough estimate for the installation portion of that. After I submitted the packet, Motorola finally got back to me with their quotes for the same 8 portables, 3 car radios. And this was minus the installation, and their quote came to $110,507.33. So you can see that there's quite a difference. I knew it was gonna go higher, just like I put in this, but I didn't know what the total dollar amount was gonna be. And so I leave this information for you folks tonight to hopefully help us out where we can continue to communicate.
So this require an adjustment to the budget.
So I'd
So,
like to turn this over to Leslie. We're, she can let you guys know.
so I spoke to, the Oregon Department of Revenue numerous times this week to try to figure out where I could transfer money to, where I could move money from. And so we did a Teams meeting, she looked at our budget, she got all of our stuff, we looked through everything. Her idea was, I take our $50,000 of operating contingency that is in support services, and I can make a transfer into the police department equipment, and we pay this, and then toward the end of the fiscal year, we basically see who has some money left over and transfer into the equipment at the end of the year, so everything budgets out. And we're not in the negative anywhere.
Well, we knew this was coming anyways. It's just, it's.
Right, it's just, it happened a year sooner, right? If it would have continued, because if it would have continued the way it was supposed to be, we would have been budgeted for it, submitted that to the budget committee, this upcoming year. It just happened after the budgets were already done, we were throwing this. And I want the council to be aware that I've spoken with Leslie, it's not that the city doesn't have the money, it's not that we're short, it's just what the money has been allotted for within the budget. We can't take all this revenue excess money and just pay for it here.
This is why I spoke to her numerous times. If you look at the budget, at the very end, it always had that, unappropriated ending fund balance. Well, that is, even though it says we have, $1.5 million in there, we can't touch it because of what it's labeled at all. Unless it's a catastrophic event, our whole town's on fire, our whole town floods, those are the only times you can use it. So the pickle that we are in is the only thing that we can use is that operating contingency.
And you know, that will
We don't, it's all in the reserves.
okay.
Should we make a motion to talk about it?
All right.
And public safety is, I mean, they have the money in there, but then it would require not using transfers for what they were allotted for, which you can't do that either.
I make a motion to authorize the police department to purchase radios from Complete Wireless Solutions and have them install 4 mobile radios for a total of $78,422.62.
I second it.
Under discussion.
That's what we are.
Right. I didn't think that 78,422, I mean, it's happening sooner, and it's an issue trying to get it, but if it would have happened a year later, I'll guarantee that 78,000 probably would have been up to 90 or plus, so. It has to happen one way or another, we knew what was gonna happen, it's just happening sooner than we thought, if I'm looking at this right.
Yeah.
They're trying to do the same thing with fire, but they're focusing on these guys first, and then they're gonna try down the road. Hopefully it's a long way down.
So, it's gonna sell
Go
almost
count.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll still be able to listen to these guys.
Still get to listen to
I still have to be straight.
At least people have cops, especially on the radio.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, it's gonna upset a lot of people, but things have really changed in today's technology and everybody, I don't wanna say everybody, but everybody has access to the scanner on their cell phone. And that's putting us at risk, and it has put us at risk, and it's putting us at risk in a lot of our operations. Because that time delay on your cell phone is only 30 seconds. And so when we have situations where we have individuals who are armed or barricaded and we're trying to make plans to safely, apprehend them or get hostages out or whatever, folks are able to hear every step that we're gonna do. And so, I think that's kind of the reasoning to go forward. And I know it upsets a lot of people and I'm all about transparency, but sometimes, the risk of the safety of the public who we're trying to help and are people that are trying to do the job.
So I imagine like other cities, bigger cities, probably they're already moving forward.
Yeah, years and years ago, a lot of the
Yeah.
systems have become the P25 trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually supposed to work better and get out a lot further. The way they kind of describe it is, I can be in Bend and get out on my portable.
So it means I don't have to listen to that Southern Oregon scanner on my Facebook.
At the scanner line, they know everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Be very frustrating sometimes here in the store and something you don't really know. They call you by your radio number and ask you about one of the calls you had a week ago. That's like,
At dispatch right now, they're really having a hard time keeping it up because a lot of times you go try to get the service, hang on for 911 call. And so they hold you off and you're running to emergency down the road and you're trying to figure out what's going on and stuff. And they want you to hang on for one. And a lot of times they're talking to the officers, so hopefully this will help them out.
Any other discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, motion carries. I believe,
I will make a motion to approve, the adoption of resolution 25-13, resolution authorizing a transfer within the general fund of $50,000 from not allocated operating contingency to the police department.
I'll second that.
I beat you to it then.
Yes, I do.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. 8.3 carries. 8.4, Public Works Foreman. I had a discussion with Zach and Leslie a couple weeks ago, or last week, it was nothing. I emailed you guys about this, hopefully you guys had a chance to read it. For the sake of Zach, and Zach will probably speak to you a little bit more, and Leslie as well. With, working as the pro tem, working his no other normal job as, the super, and then taking on the responsibility for the director. It's a lot of time, and so the idea is to, speak to his contract possibly, but, to possibly hire a public works foreman to step in and help relieve some of that time for him to be able to do, his job more. And I think the long-term, idea is that, as he, depending on whether or not he becomes, if he were, become the administrator full-time or stay in the city and do something else, good chance that there's a possibility, there's a conversation on him to take on the director position as, after that person's retiring. And so, anyway, a lot to discuss there. The idea is though to be able to help him with his time, and I'll let you guys speak to that a little bit, the city employees speak to that a little bit more. If you guys have anything you want to say, and then we can discuss. Anything you want to add to that? Kind of share a little bit. Sure.
It's just super overwhelming, between wanting to do this job 8 hours a day, and then I did my job for 8 hours a day, and it's not like they're in the same building, it's one of them's out in the field and the other one's up here. It's really hard to be there to help the guys get their stuff done, and then it's really
And
hard.
speak to you like, as a super, you're required to get out there a lot to be able to do some of this, because that role requires you to be out there to be able to just give direction.
Yes.
And so you're just taking you gotta be out there a lot to do that. And so it's gonna take you to be able to do this, yeah.
I mean, you're one of the guys on the ground out there doing the work.
Yeah. And speak to you also like, I think it's just one of those things as well, if I understand, is it was kind of a learning process to kind of figure that out as you take on this role. Because you came recommended as to be able to be the coach, and we wanted you to be successful in that, and so.
I know we did have a discussion when we moved to the pro tem. I think, well, that's one first thing you said, are you gonna have time to do them both? When we discussed it, and we probably should have maybe made a decision at that time, that we're probably gonna have somebody.
I don't think we expected to know how divided he would have to be.
Right.
So
That was my concern in the very beginning, because that was a full-time job, and what he was doing was a full-time job, so he's supposed to do them both. Just gonna get him a little extra money, and he's gonna share about the money.
Well, and there's also a director's job in the middle that's not being.
Right, so we're down staff.
Yes.
we're down staff and staff is on the verge of retiring in every single department.
Lots of retirements.
Now, on this job description, is the public works foreman the same thing as the public works superintendent, or?
I don't know how that all came about, or how the superintendent came about. I don't, Lonnie, that's something, what he brought me in as. I don't know.
It was brought in was because you had more experience.
Yes, I don't think it was ever a title, but he came in with more experience than the prior.
I think before it was a public works supervisor.
Yes.
Foreman in the past, yeah.
But we're not gonna have three, we're not gonna eventually have a foreman, a superintendent, and a director. No, they're not three positions.
Right.
Because what you communicated to me was that you did, to fill this role, a foreman is more than enough to be able to step in and fill in the role, fill in what you need.
Yes, it would definitely help relieve some of the back and forth.
You know, you guys are down because it is right now in the public works, and so.
And budgetarily, we did, I could move, because right now only 10% of him is from admin. And so I can move most of him to come out of support services and admin, so it would alleviate a little bit more in the public works side to be able to pay for it.
I motion to approve the recruitment of a public works foreman.
I second it.
Yeah, any other discussion?
On the recruitment here, on job description, are we gonna put pay rates in there, and then we need to decide how long we're gonna post this position? So I think it sounds like we need to do it right away, we're in dire need of it.
So a 30-day recruitment, does that seem fair, or do you want longer,
I think 30 days.
or you can survive in under 30 days?
Don't way yard.
We can also list until Bill.
Yeah.
Right, that sounds good.
But how much longer is the time before the retirement takes place as public works director?
I think it has been voiced. That was like June of 26. Was that the last?
Okay.
Yeah. Basically next July, they're there, I don't know why they need to go with the contract.
Our fiscal year, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's when the director has stated that he was gonna.
Yeah, I think one of the discussions is the pay range. Did the employees have an idea next? I did some little research too, but
So Zach and I talked about, and obviously depending on experience, because you're either gonna get somebody that has, you know, some leadership experience, but not much in all the certs that they need to have. So between 30 and 40 is what we discussed.
41.
Dollar an hour.
I think everything else would pretty much do it monthly, don't we? Mostly the job descriptions, that's what I don't remember whether that's.
Sorry, everybody has an hourly amount, but then it gets posted that it's monthly, yes, yeah.
yeah, that seems like very exactly what I was looking at too. And so, as you were saying, somebody who maybe, so if somebody doesn't have a lot of certifications, like, will they come in? Like, if we were to hire that individual who didn't have certifications, then we would be needing to get them trained up pretty quickly to get those certifications.
Yeah, so Zach knows more about the certs.
I think in the job description, they would have like a year.
Yeah.
To start getting some of that.
I think 6 months for their CDL,
Yeah.
and then 1 year for the water, 1 year for the wastewater.
Yeah.
Something to consider with that too is, let's say we do hire somebody who needs those certifications. Are you still then having to step in during that time until they're actually certified, that you're going to be like no longer overlap?
You just have to sign off.
Mostly, I think we have all the people to do all the signing, so that's not.
Yeah, so the signing that we be issued.
I think just the extra boots on the ground would be super helpful.
How's the contract with the unions here in the city? Do we help somebody get the accreditations and the certificates, so they're not just on their own, but go out and do it, we help them along the way?
And the only one that we're concerned about is the CDL. Cause that one's kind of went crazy. We used to be able to just study and go get it, but now we got to go, basically got to go to the UCC.
Yeah, I
Really,
think,
right there, truck, you know.
I think some of them are saying now, with the Oregon's new law, it could take up to 9 months to get your CDL, where it used to be, you can go down tomorrow.
And it
take
could cost
it
like $8,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
We know people that just go to Idaho.
What's that?
You can just go to Idaho. That's what
Idaho.
everybody's doing. They're going there, yeah.
All the big construction.
Like that for governor, right?
It's rough, I might have to go do whatever.
So then let's see, if you're saying 30 would be 2,008 hours in a year, so it'd be that divided by 12. So as long as you got it figured out.
Yeah, well, I'm just taking, I mean, because like basically he wouldn't be paid out of water and sewer any longer. I know what he makes. So then, you know, we obviously have some wiggle room there.
If that's the number, put out there for recruitment, get good, you know, good applicants in, and, yeah, I think we go with that number.
Okay. Any other discussion for this one? All in favor, aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries. With that, any, 8.5 is city administrator contract, I think this was brought in, I think the foreman really is gonna help alleviate a lot. I want you to speak on if you have anything else that you want to speak on the contract. I think maybe this was more for like a, we weren't gonna do a foreman, but, we can, I want to make sure that, especially in the next, 30 days as we're hiring somebody and that kind of thing, I want to make sure that we are. I think there was maybe some confusion on compensation on whether or not you were gonna be able, because we were working extra hours. But there's, I guess, the way the contract was written, there's concern about that you're not able to get paid for those hours.
He's an exempt employee.
Right. And so, I think, the idea was that I don't, maybe was unexpected on how many hours, extra hours you would, when they have to be working, if that.
It's not so much like it's extra hours, I think it's, yeah, to be here to fill all three roles as best as I can, I just feel like I can't hardly ever get away. And I think by getting,
And when you say get away from,
go, not be here,
yeah,
not be here,
yeah,
do personal stuff.
yeah,
Like, it just seems, like right now I got problems in public works, guys, sick guys, hurt guys, so I've been spending a lot more time down there, less time up here, and
so are you finding that you're having to spend it, after hours doing all that kind of stuff and then catch up?
it's not so much after hours, I guess, it's just like the long council meetings and stuff, like you're not being able to take time off to balance some of the overtime back and forth. I think having this extra guy will help tremendously. And then there was, the admin leave. Being able to use that, we're not really sure how that's gonna work out.
So it states in the contract with the admin leave that he gets 6.66 per month. So because it's exempt for him to get paid for time off, he has to take a whole day off, so that'd be 8 hours. So then he has to wait for at least 2 months to take 1 day off using the admin leave. So
It's been messy, already.
So I'm wondering if we could come up with some solution, if we can like front load them some until, the end of the year. And then it also says that admin leave has to be used in the calendar year, so he would have to use those days before the end of December. So. I feel like with his not being able to leave because we don't have enough people and not having the hours there for him to take the time off, it gets kind of messy. I'm just wondering if we can come up with a solution.
I'm open to finding a solution to that. What is that is? I'm not sure.
Is that 6.66 written in stone, or is that part of the?
It's in the contract, and that's just because as admin leave, they get, 80 hours a year. And so it was just, you divide that up by the.
But that's within the contract.
Yes, and so, I want to say normal people, but, the other people that get the admin leave get it all front loaded. So they don't accrue it over the year. And so I'm wondering if we.
Well, I'm just wondering if within the contract, we could not change that amount to where it is an even number and not this broken out, make it accrued monthly, not over a year's period of time where you get 6.66. It doesn't make sense.
Just mathematically how it's divided up.
I think the solution is probably like everybody else does. And that was just probably, we probably just missed talking about that.
Well, when we probably thought about it, so, yeah.
I think we touched on it, that's why we're going 6.6, because if you front load it, front load it for September, saying you got it in December, so we didn't want to front load 80 hours
Right,
Like generally, it would be front loaded January first, and you have a full year to use.
So we would have prorated, I think, basically, when we started, I guess.
Yeah, that would be, that's it, when you did by prorated for 80 hours a year, probably divided by 12.
Right.
Right, but the idea would be to front load it so that you would get,
Yeah.
you know, at the time the contract started, which was April fifth, August fifth, I'm sorry, that he would get all of the rest of the year's hours at that moment.
To front load the remainder
Right.
from August.
Yeah,
We find out, it's fine with me too.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
We're just still sticking to the 80 hours a year.
Right,
yeah,
just,
front load, so that.
I was just, didn't want to load 80 hours with St. John for the next 2 months.
So. Still though, there's a concern of you worried about not being able to use it because. I mean, I guess if we were to hire this individual on time, this would work better. Cause you technically, if, as you spoke to, this has to be used by the end of the year.
Yes.
And so, I mean, we can't roll it over. And so, there's still that, is there still a little bit of concern there? I mean, obviously, if we were to hire somebody in time, maybe that would help, but.
so the other concern is, and this might be a lot, but, so he gets the admin leave, which that's time off for him. He also carries the radio or the, on-call phone, and so he gets comp time. And in our contract, it says you can't, keep on the books more than 60 hours of comp time. So he has all this comp time that he has to use also. So unfortunately for him, he has all this time off that he has to take and he can't take it off.
Once in a while.
And Thanksgiving and Christmas, you know.
And you, yeah, it's just
I
like,
mean, you can pay out for the comp time, you can, but
Not on the admin time.
not on the admin time, yes.
You've heard of Christmas week, haven't you?
Yes.
That Christmas week is actually 2 weeks, so they take it.
so you're getting the duty from on time, you will get paid on that.
He can, yes. I mean, some people don't like to, but
Well, yeah, we would encourage you to take time off, absolutely, yeah, I mean, 100%, I think, but I'm not so worried if you are gonna get paid out, but I'm not so worried about that, it's the admin time that we do. Yeah, we want to make sure you have that time off. I think,
So that what we're discussing, instead of keeping it
the admin time.
6.6.
Calendar year started in August, so wouldn't you prorate 80 hours from August?
that's what we're doing.
We're doing that, that's being like front loading, what they're saying is we're front loading 40 hours instead of just giving them 6.66.
I heard 80, so that's what I'm like, you give them 80 hours.
80 for the year.
80 for the whole year. From January to January.
I think, it's one of the. I'm not sure if this is the right solution, but my idea would be give them the front load, the hours. Prorated, and then maybe see how it goes with this. Hiring this new individual, because you should be able to, hopefully we'll be able to hire somebody quickly. And then. Give the opportunity to let them do. How's that, I mean, does that seem like
In a real world, that's for.
yes, I know, we're. I know we don't live. We live like our rules and that, so, okay. I mean, anyway, I'm not going to make a decision. I'm assuming this is going to need to be a motion to be able to change the contract. Because we're going to be having a new amendment to the contract. I don't know. Yes, yes.
I don't know, I haven't seen the contract.
Oh, his contract, oh. I haven't called it. His original contract.
It was,
Oh, you're talking about the original?
Yeah.
His original contract.
they just wanna do it right.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
So it's really, it's just changing. Yeah, communicating that's from the front loader, there's benefits.
Well, I don't have any idea how to work.
I make a motion that we make an amendment to Zach's contract to front load prorated 80 hours of the admin time, retroactive to August.
Second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye,
Aye.
opposed nay. Motion carries. Um, 8.6, city administrator job posting.
So last week, council had a few changes that they had suggested and requested that those changes be made and that this be brought back before council. The 4 changes that were requested were to remove the Accept Police Association grievances from the typical examples of work. That was removed. To change the language to read council manager form of government from council administrator. To add the language that hiring is dependent upon a successful background check and drug screening, and that is the last item on the description. And then to also include underneath the description of Myrtle Creek that the city also operates an airport and a port. So those were all added to this, and then I do want to suggest though, because we're gonna do 90-day posting. And we're including and wanting people to know about the election in May and the possibility of changing a requirement, that we maybe consider postponing the posting to the 1st of March, which would be 90 days leading up to the end of the election results. So that way, if someone is applying within the, like they apply March 1st, we're not even looking at hiring until mid-May after election results are in, if the charter gets changed or not. My concern is if we post this right now, we've got October, November, December, that we've got somebody who has applied, who wants this job, but they're concerned about that dependent of being able to live outside the city limits or not. Or we have an applicant who applies who's outside, we can't give it to them. And we've got this whole time where that family is waiting on a job and waiting for something. Or I'm getting an applicant calling me saying, hey, I applied 4 months ago. I see the job is not posted, what did you do? And I'm like, oh, we were just checking to see if people were interested. I just don't feel like it's quite a good look, and that's just from the posting side of it. Where in March, we take what we have here, we put it out. The job, 90 days is the end of May. Someone might be waiting for that election result, and it comes in that we changed it, and they jump in and get that application.
I think that's absolutely gonna happen. I think when we first talked about this, we were hoping it's gonna be on the November ballot, since then to get it on the November ballot, it's kicked to May. Everything's gonna get back. I think another concern was that, but he's already got 2 months underneath them. Sounds like things are going, but I don't see that there's any.
A rush, so we can still say, yes, this is a good posting, but just if council wanted to just wait until it's closer to that ballot and closer to the time where, I feel like from all of the meetings, pretty confident that everyone does want to at least put the question on the ballot. And so maybe if we waited closer to that result from the ballot measure. That's just me, just throwing it out there.
No, I appreciate it. You did a lot of hard work that kid already for us. But it's gonna be ready.
Be ready for when we say go, it's go.
Yeah.
So what happens if, this is just play devil's advocate, what happens if Zach all of a sudden decides that this is not what he wants to do? And he's not gonna do it.
Do we have a plan?
Do we have a contingent, I mean,
Me.
and that's another problem there, but.
I guess it would go back to like what we really thought about, we would have to find somebody that's willing to do it for 6 months, and if nothing else, go to the.
You go to another intro.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what,
I think you're the one really, you wanna go to the League of City Voters.
If you're serious about wanting to apply, I think a lot of it is council wanting to make sure that you have the opportunity. If you're like, go for it, post it, then in 90 days, if you do have candidates you want to interview, I'm like, the whole ballot thing might be a moot point. I mean, it's. A, B, C, D.
Well, this, I mean, another thing up front too is that wants it, he's working towards doing that. If it doesn't come from the ballot, he can't have it because he doesn't live in the city.
Yeah, he could, he has 6 months.
Well,
But he's supposed to. Realistically.
Just put it out.
Didn't we put on that charter amendment though? Didn't we also put on there that any of these could be, up to council?
That was discussed to include
But that would come in the vote.
a ballot, and yes, again, that would be whether.
I still think we should add that. Well,
But that still would be resolved until May.
Right.
right,
I don't have a problem with delaying it, it's just saying, you know, anything can happen.
Right, you can put it till the
Yeah.
cows come
yeah.
home.
I mean,
But what you're bringing up is logically plausible.
yeah, in the moment that we, in the past that we know right now, I think that makes sense. I think that by future,
Yeah, I would like to get the application out there, but if it's gonna be a, you know, big mess.
Well, we could also put it out for 90 days, and if nobody local applies, then, so this is the other option, if nobody, we don't have anybody apply who's local, well, then we at least put it out for 90 days. If you do have somebody local who applies, you interview, if you don't want them, you don't hire them, and you say, we're gonna keep going. I'm like, so if you're prepared to do interviews, then that's not a problem. So there's really, I guess we'll add E.
I move to approve the job posting for city administrator position with posting period of 90 days.
Second one.
I'd like to see it proposed just because it includes that and then includes some we don't know about. We're back to the same thing, we would just be so limited on just saying you have to live in the city.
so I understand why you would.
I think I would like to see it pushed out. It was a whole different ballgame than we thought we were gonna go to November election and everything would have worked perfect. But now we've been kicked back from November to May.
I agree with Rick. I would like to see it postponed. If you want to have a bigger candidate, potential candidate pool, I personally would apply for a position not knowing where I could live.
Well, right now, you would know where you could live, and that would be.
Knowing that there's a possibility, if I was going to have to relocate,
Well, and that's the problem I have with all this. We're all thinking people local are gonna apply for this. The majority of the people that apply for the city administrators do not come from your local pool. They come from out of other places. And if we're telling them, it's all right to live in Roseburg, it's all right to live here. What are we saying about our city?
and did we come to an agreement on how we were going to post that, whether it was 97457 or within 30 minutes?
No, they said miles, the attorney said miles.
And they had said if we wanted to remain close to the 30 minutes, that if we chose like 40 miles, that would account for stoplights, things like that, and put it closer to the 30 minutes.
So does it cost anything to put the posting out there? So you said we could, you know, see what we get, and if we don't like anybody, then we can just go ahead and push it back to the May.
Now, so if we post it local, there's no charge for work source. LOC, I believe, charges like $25, something like that for their job board. It can get to be more if we then,
If you go in trade magazines, is where you're gonna end up
Yeah.
spending the money. But
I mean, if we're gonna. Whatever we do, it the excesses. I don't have that. Can't say that.
Don't go halfway.
Yeah, we won't play with it, but. Yeah, that's.
So in theory, it would be a 90-day job posting. It would take 2 weeks minimum to do at least one round of interviews. If you make an offer to somebody, they're gonna give a 30-day notice that they're currently an administrator. So you're at least 5 months out before you would hire somebody anyway.
Probably more than that, because you're gonna keep at least 3 weeks to a month to have the background. Yeah,
So it's a 6-month hiring process with a 90-day.
It would kind of pivotal because
And it's gonna be the same thing
so
if
if
we
we
wait
postpone it.
until
till that,
after, yeah, and then. it's
So then it'll be
other-
September again before you hire somebody.
Right, it's looking. Way out.
And I don't know exactly what to do. Or add what happens.
I mean, probably will help a lot once they find somebody to help him, give him some support. How are you feeling about your schedule? I mean, are you completely unable to do the
Well, I
three
just
things?
run around and put fires out all day.
Just put fires out. Okay, so can you do that for a couple more months?
Then we'll give it a shot.
Well, that's a good attitude.
Sounds like a mom, actually.
Any other discussion? I guess we have a motion in a second. So. All in favor of posting it now? Aye.
Uh,
Aye.
Nay? Nay, nay.
Okay.
Right, motion actually carries. So. We'll post that for 90 days and then see what happens. Eight point seven, Title 10, vehicles and traffic. We brought this back instead of. Because Brewster's here. We brought this back to the council so that, so we can just finalize it here and. Not have to wait for code review, who can't be for another couple weeks anyway.
so,
So you're.
I did.
Joanna did a lot of work.
so from your staff report, those are all of the comments that were mentioned during our last meeting that went through. So as we go into the code, on page 75 of your packet, I opened up the Oregon Vehicle Code along with our municipal code and compared definitions. And so because we have in here, in addition to definitions in Oregon Vehicle Code, these are defined as follows. I removed bicycle completely because it is defined in the Oregon Vehicle Code. The next item was we saw the kind of conflicting central business district descriptions. And there is mention of a zoning map that, or not a zoning map, it was, what was it that I took? In another section, it mentions a street map that was codified. It was not codified, and it was a very blurry picture of our zoning map, and our zoning map is a changing document. People can go before planning commission and request a zoning change. So I feel like if we take the boundaries that are referenced in the line item of this code to Pleasant Street and Main Street, and then First and Fourth Avenue, and use both sides and reference the official zoning map, then it would always be a current picture of what our central business district is zoning wise. took out holiday because it's not referenced anywhere, and I think that's why Lonnie had taken it out.
No, it's referenced.
It was referenced,
If you look at 10.05040, which is
Powers of the city council.
yeah, powers of the city
Oh.
council. Look down at D, it says we are in charge of the designation of the parking meter zones. At this point, we don't have parking meters, but that's, I think at one point we did, and at some point 10 years down the road, who knows if we're ever gonna bring the parking meters back, but as long as that's part of our powers, I think we should probably just leave it as is.
it mentioned holidays in the powers.
It mentioned parking meters, and that's what it's,
Oh.
it said holidays, that is what it says on the parking meters. Those are the times you don't have to feed the meter. Was during
Oh,
Sundays, holidays.
And after hour, well, I think a lot of people know, I never put a penny in after hours, I'm gonna get out of here.
So like people look for somebody that does have parking meters, it's posted right on the parking meter when you don't have to feed the meter, so that's what that's referenced to. I don't care when we take it out, but it is referenced to an ordinance.
Then if that's the case, are we gonna just leave it at those holidays, or should it be every holiday?
I say leave it at that. 10 years down the road, a new council decides they want to put parking meters in the parking structure because they have money for the parking structure.
Just leave it alone.
Let them adjust it with the holidays.
Because there are about 5 other holidays aren't listed.
Yeah.
Oh, they kind of caught up with the.
Yeah, that one kind of, there isn't Juneteenth, there isn't,
Yeah, but I'm just pointing out that is,
But with the
Code is
parking meter,
referenced.
it doesn't say holidays though, under.
no, it says we have the authority to put parking meters in.
But that doesn't
And
have to do
that's
with the definition of holiday though.
But that's what they were on the parking meters, so we either.
Oh, like
they get away
actually.
with it, and then if they decide 10 years down the road or 20 years down the road, they want parking meters, they can come back and decide when you have to see the parking meter or not.
So you're okay with getting rid of
Yeah, I'm
holidays?
just saying,
Okay.
that's what it's connected to, but we can get rid of it if we need to.
So then motorized bicycles, so those are also in the Oregon Vehicle Code as the electric assisted bicycle. So I feel like we can remove that. On page 76 of your packet, we added, so if it's in blue, it means it's something that the code review had added to it. I crossed it out because motorized scooters are in the Oregon Vehicle Code as the motorized assisted scooter, so it's already referenced. Motor truck was in the original code, and that is also referenced in the Oregon Vehicle Code. And, we had changed operating to skating, and I have opted to strike all of that due to operation is defined in the Oregon Vehicle Code. Riding, I made the option to strike that, it was added, but also it's the definition of operation or operating, which is defined in the Oregon Vehicle Code. Taxi cab stand was stricken since we don't have a taxi service or a taxi cab designated areas. The next amendments are all the way on page 78 of your packet. And that first one is in 10.05.110. We had struck riding as a code review board and changed it to skating. My suggestion is to change both of those to operation permitted, which is more in line with that Oregon Vehicle Code. And then again at section 2, striking the original word riding, which required a definition, striking skating, which we added the definition to, and placing it as operation prohibited. Because then that operation is already defined in the Oregon Vehicle Code. So right below that, where we talk about central business district, this was all in the current code, and I suggest that we just strike mention of the exhibit A, which was attached to ordinance 09003. Exhibit A was a map that wasn't codified, and if they're not gonna codify it and put it into the code where you can look it up, well then, might as well not.
What about the zoning map?
So that zoning map I referenced, ahead when we described central business district by definition. So when you read it over here, central business district, you would reference that definition of what is the central business district,
So what, could we just,
repeat it and.
no, not repeat, just under the definitions and there where it defines,
That's on page 75.
the definition,
The central business district definition.
right?
So I
But
changed
That's what I'm
division.
saying, but this is the map.
Yes, that's our official zoning map, so that's why I said as referenced in the official zoning map. I believe when this was created, they wanted that to limit that skateboarding in that business district where there's all the doors on the sidewalks. And that's why we don't have included Mill, that's up closer.
The only thing my problem would take out, if we're not saying refer to the map, I think if you just say refer to the map, you're saying you can skate in front of the post office, in front of the business center, Tommy's, all that. I thought that's where we didn't want skateboards.
So far, well, it was originally just that central business district, and then we had struck in and added section E on the next page. Prohibited on sidewalks, period. And then you had mentioned you didn't want to be kicking kids off of all the sidewalks, so if we left it, if we struck sidewalks and left it as no skateboarding in the central business district, there is following down, which kind of changed it. I don't know if we just didn't catch it, where if we were removing sidewalks, if you go to regulations and 3G, which is, let's see. So G is on page 80. Operation on sidewalks, it's right in the middle of the page on page 80. So this is a regulation that's already in our code for the operation of sidewalks, and it says no person shall operate a skateboard on a sidewalk, and then there's 3 guidelines here. To suddenly leave the curb or place of safety and move into the path of a vehicle. You are not to operate on a sidewalk without giving an audible warning before overtaking or passing a pedestrian. You're not to operate on a sidewalk at a speed greater than an ordinary walk when approaching or entering a crosswalk. And then, there's a few more regulations. So that whole section would need to be removed or reworded if we were gonna completely get away with sidewalk riding. But by pulling our addition of sidewalks back in, then and all of those, Jonathan, those are all regulations that were already in the code. So I don't know if having those regulations kind of offset some of the skateboarding on the sidewalks by at least giving them here, you need to operate safely following these rules. So,
I think the issue on sidewalks was when they originally wanted to just take out sidewalks and whole thing.
completely, yes,
Yeah.
and so I removed that item where we had added to remove sidewalks completely. So now if the code will still have prohibited riding of your skateboard in that central business district, but for everywhere else, it would be ride your skateboard, but follow these regulations.
Is that skateboard and bicycles as well? Because I think that was the concern too, is not, excuse me, not wanting bicycles on the sidewalk in the downtown business districts where there's very little space of somebody walking out of a business to the sidewalk and then getting hit and injured.
So all of this operation is roller skates, skateboards, sleds, and other like devices, which I think, I don't know why bicycles, we could even put bicycle in that top as like devices. But that regulation, as far as those rules about the, going into traffic or letting people know you're passing them. We could say no person shall operate a skateboard or bicycle on a sidewalk. Bicycles, I think, are known to not be on sidewalks, like they're supposed to ride with traffic in,
But you get a lot of the kids like on the BMX bikes or the younger kids or stuff, and I've seen them, go ripping down the sidewalks and downtown business districts. And I totally agree with Rick on this, that the concern is not wanting to say you can't ride any of this on sidewalks is, it's not good because then you're telling a little kid or your parent, you can't teach your kid in the neighborhood how to ride his bike or skateboard on the sidewalk, you're kicking them out on the street, that's not safe. But I think we don't want bicycles, rollerblades, skateboards, or anything in the downtown business districts. That way,
so
putting
we
people
can.
in danger of getting hit when they walk out of the business store.
So the central business district regulations were. I'm trying to find what was that one. Oh, so streets and where riding is prohibited. So central business district this is just where operation prohibited. And that
Operation of
includes
everything.
all of it. There's nothing in the central business district on the sidewalk.
And that's what I'm saying, I agree with that, but I'm thinking, if we just, instead of trying to define it, Pleasant, First, Fourth, and Main, if we just put down.
Oh, you mean take all the regulations out and then
Just refer to the zoning map.
as central business district?
Yeah, because the zoning map includes in front of the post office, in front, all the way down to Tommy's, in front of the Elks, and if you say you can do it after.
So you wouldn't even have to have items I through, or 1 through 4 there. It would just be streets underneath where it's prohibited would be streets or sidewalks in the central business district.
Especially the fact that this thing can change often.
And if this changes,
We don't wanna have to keep changing this.
Right.
if we need to.
so
So-
instead of specifically saying first,
Yeah.
or, that little section, we can just put down.
So central business district under definitions means the area,
As defined in central, in the zoning map.
Official zoning.
Exactly. Now, we even have our own, business there, now, we want people on skateboards coming through there, going down to Tommy's or.
So then on this one here, we're gonna do the same thing, we're gonna strike those. And we're gonna say streets or sidewalks in the central business district area, and period, because it's already defined.
Or you can even refer to the map.
Do you want, because bicycles are not anywhere specifically mentioned around here, it's roller skates, skateboards, sleds, and other like devices, would you like bicycles, comma, and other like devices?
I think that's a good idea because, there's gonna be an argument of a bicycle isn't a light device of the skateboard or something.
Okay.
You're talking in the central business.
Just in general for the operating of everything because that way if it's included when there's the regulations about you need to notify someone when you're passing them, if a bicycle was just a light device. So.
Yeah.
We'll just actually we'll list it and light devices, but bicycle will be in there.
Right, because before it's just saying skateboards, rollerblades, or what was it?
Skateboards, roller
Roller
skates, skateboards, sleds, and light devices.
Yeah.
So we'll add bicycles.
Let it down.
I know there's a mention in here of toboggan. Specifically. Oh.
I think the whole thing is to get to the point that we don't want bicycles and skateboards
Right,
in downtown.
and to simplify it where it's not confusing for the reader or whoever's
Right.
having to deal with it.
So those are super easy. Those are the only changes then in that specific section of code. If we take out the what the central business district is defined as and make it just the map. If we take out the skateboard prohibited and we leave it with the guidance for skateboards, and then we add, bicycle to the list before like devices, that met, the changes that were requested in the last meeting. And, if you don't have anything, I'll go to the next section. 1010 was the flashing lights, which we're still gonna leave. No, you don't get to put flashing lights on your car.
That's what you wanted, right?
Yes.
We did, that's why you're here tonight.
So we strike that one completely, and so then 10.15 golf carts becomes 1010. And following along the guidelines of looking at Oregon Vehicle Code, a golf cart is specifically defined in the Oregon Vehicle Code. So my suggestion is to completely strike that definition and leave it as described in the Oregon Vehicle Code. And that is the only change on golf carts.
That worked.
Good thing for someone that everybody can now get on and type in and you want to explain it to them.
So if everyone is happy with those changes, I have a couple of options. You can go ahead and say, we like these changes, make them, and we want to see it one more time before it goes to an ordinance, all cleaned up, which I can bring it to you November 2nd, I believe is the next one. October. I am completely, something horrible must have happened to me in October at some point in time, because for like the last 6 months, I am skipping October. Yeah. So in November, I can bring back.
October.
I'm just ripping that out of my calendar. In October, I can bring back the cleaned up one so that you can have one final look before we create an ordinance. Or what we would do is I would go ahead and schedule a public hearing, make it into an ordinance and bring it before you for a first read. You can make changes on a first read of an ordinance before it comes back to the second read. So it's up to you if you want one more before we schedule a public hearing to look at it.
I don't think that's necessary.
Well, I think it's a good idea in case Rick wants to beat stuff up there.
My whole thing is I did not want kids coming out of the junior high, coming out of the library, the park, the swimming pool, any of that stuff, and force them to get on Division Street to drive down to Dollar General in the middle of traffic. They would get killed down there at the line.
So I
And
think
same thing going out to race.
that and bring it back in the next month, whatever month that might be.
Whatever month. We'll have to watch and make sure that my public meetings calendar is not for November and it's October.
Leslie, can you read that?
So, we meant to do a set of a first read. With that.
Are we doing a public hearing with the first read? Or are we gonna do it one more time with it all cleaned up to look at?
I think all cleaned up to look at and then go with the first and second.
Perfect, because it does cost us to advertise for public hearings and we wanna move them along. So, all right. In October, the next meeting, I will have it cleaned up. Do you want to see it both ways? Do you want to see the marked up one with the clean one behind it, or just
The clean one only.
one clean code?
Clean one only.
We can always refer back to this when it will be.
Yeah.
You want to drive yourself.
I do.
All right, let's move on. City administrator report.
So, well, last week we had a meeting with FEMA, pretty much everything that was under $4,000, they told us we can't claim any of that. And then the mill site, the walking pad, they basically kept asking us what infrastructure was damaged there. And we didn't lose anything, so we can't claim that either.
which basically made mill site to where it wasn't enough to claim at all. But we've kind of been knocked down to about 6 items we get a claim. And then I think later on this week, we get to go meet with them again. They're gonna go look at everything we got and.
But the big ones say the infrastructure of the Norland.
Only that section that was damaged.
Yeah, they don't want to pay for the whole project, they only want to pay for the damaged pipe back to what it was. And then like the sinkhole, they don't want to do a full linear, they want to replace so much pipe on each side. So we're gonna have to figure out how to word that with them, so it's like, all right, well, what are we attached to? Because the pipe's rotten, it's falling apart.
But we gotta approve their ordinance and make sure that it's just right, the way they want it.
So,
Welcome to FEMA.
Anything else?
and they wouldn't let us lump parks together, we tried that, or we haven't been notified, we lump parks. We had several items in different parks, and they were like, we'll have to look into that.
As far as separating evergreen mill site.
Yeah, because we had Evergreen Mill Site and, yes,
Creekside.
and we wanted to lump everything because it would have met that threshold.
But it's kind of like insurance, they make sure that they got all those things, loopholes
Yes,
to
yeah.
avoid having to pay.
So somebody will come down and walk through you.
Thursday.
And look at it all day, we're gonna go walk with them and shoot them, everything. Okay, they're in a good mood, hopefully. Now, one more thing, so the RV park owners is asking for some nature of pay for the jobs and tasks that he does for the city. And I want to bring that to you guys to figure out. And he is here tonight, if you want to ask him questions. I know he cleaned the bathroom, he cleaned the urine, he cleaned the showers, the sites, you know, weed, water, take care of all the beds around there.
So what is it that you're compensated for?
I just get from my, jump, my RV site, that's it.
However, we need to go about, we have to put it on the agenda, because I know, I mean, we could go off somehow, the state parks do it, how BLM do it, how Forest Service, now they do compensate their campos for some kind of stipend. And I mean, that's
So we look into it.
something to look into.
Yeah, so we'll add that to the next agenda.
It's kind of tapped out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or we can't really talk about it.
Do my 9,000.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
Excuse me, we also included in that when you put it in our Dropbox, what is right now included, for our campos, what is provided. And when you drop that in, please.
Yeah, currently our camp host, the only compensation is their space rent. And that's the only compensation that's given.
Which is equivalent to how much?
35 times like 30
Oh, about $1,000.
plus utilities.
All utilities, so internet, water, all that's also included in that.
So I know that, Harold is, done a great job, and I just wonder if you wanted to just throw out a couple of extracurricular activities that you help with and that you are there to, lend a hand and support you.
Well, any of you guys can come down to the campsite and look. I maintain that whole campsite. I do the electrical, if something's wrong. I do everything. Trim the trees, take the brush out, prune everything. That wasn't being done before by the camp folks. I took it on to keep the park guys from having to come down and do that. They have more work to do than they got. They can handle anyway. So I took on all that. Tree comes down, I'll go up and saw the tree up and take it off. I've done it 3 or 4 times. I do everything in that park. You guys can come down and look at it anytime you want to. You got a suggestion how you want to like to make it? I'm open for it. But
I mean, it's one of those things, like, I mean, I go to the park and it's one of those things where like, if you don't notice anything wrong, you're not gonna really think about it. So I don't actually, I didn't notice anything wrong, right? So it's, so you're doing a good job.
it's a 24/7 job.
Yeah.
He's covered under Oregon's home.
Yes.
I am.
If we're gonna discuss it at the next
And my
meeting,
hoodie should have been covered.
we're gonna discuss it at the next meeting, it's fine, I mean, maybe we could all do a little bit, investigate, find out what other cities, what state parks, what BLMs, how they do compensate, so that we could be fair.
I threw out a thing once to one, well, actually I did it 3 times, and I guess he never brought it up, I don't know. I don't want an hourly wage.
No. It'd be a
Monthly.
stipend. I think that's what you're asking for, it's just a stipend, it's stuff that you do,
Yeah,
monthly stipend.
yeah, I mean, not much. You want me to throw out $10 extra a day?
What was your,
That's not much compared to what I do, but right now, if you figure out hours I put in, I'm getting less than $1 an hour.
We understand that, we'll take a look at that.
Yeah, we'll do it thoroughly.
I'll be honest with you, I just assume
What
we were
would-
getting some.
your proposal that you had given to Lonnie
300
a month?
month.
That's $10 a day.
That's the deal.
I get 20.
That's what I told, that's what I asked Lauren, and I brought it up to him 3 times.
No, I think we definitely will need to look at it.
Right now, like you said, state parks, all the parks also pay their sites plus compass, extra.
If we can bring them next thing, because I know exactly what the fund does for theirs, so.
Information.
All right, council comments, Bob?
So, once again, thank those that applied for the position and welcome Jamie to the council.
Jamie, then?
Thank you for letting me join this fun evening tonight.
You made me thank them now.
And going forward.
Kathy?
Yeah, I wanted to welcome Jamie too. I'm really excited that you're here. Also, I wanted to thank Zach for the bus stop being clean. And I also was hoping maybe we could look at some point. I think there's a sign up there that says information something. I'm not sure, that's all I remember. Because it's so faded that I don't know, what was up there before, but.
Are you talking up there on,
The bus stop at the corner.
4th and Volunteer Way?
And the neighborhood field.
That is a Chamber of Commerce, has that kiosk there, that information kiosk there, at one time was maintained by the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, okay, so it's not really in effect.
Madam President.
People just go throw those pamphlets around, and so.
Yeah, no, I don't want any pamphlets, no pamphlets. As a matter of fact, I want to thank, that's what I'm saying to Zach for, I haven't seen it clean before. And I was walking past there the other day and it was clean and I thought, hallelujah. Cause it looks really, it looks nice and the bus stop is there and a lot of people, are there, come and go and that's like one of the first things they see. So I was really happy about that. Also, I was real excited about the ballpark because they're, leveling that looks really good. I guess there's quite a bit more to do, but at least they're getting started with that. Also wanted to thank, people for the changes in the code because I have gone to the bathroom before and little guys with their bicycles, you know, just about run over you as you're coming out the bathroom. So that's good. I'm happy about that. And then I just have one last question about the Imagine Myrtle Creek, since we didn't mention that tonight. Is that gonna come back on a different date for us to discuss a little more? Or did we ever get the data on that sent to us or?
Yeah, it's all in your Dropbox. Actually, I know it was all emailed. I think I may have put the spreadsheet in the Dropbox, but also Kernan broke everything out for you.
Oh, okay, my bad then. I need to be a little more thorough, but anyway, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Diana?
Yeah, that's it.
Welcome, Jamie, and thank you guys for applying, and it's great to have people coming.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
On my daily bicycle rides, I did see a weed today, so thank you. And I have noticed since we hired the part-time parks guy, he's been out there, I've been seeing him out there and getting everything mowed down and taken care of, so things are looking good at that point. And I did talk to Randy on the ball field, and they brought in 250 yards of topsoil to get that leveled out, and now they're just working on the sprinklers to get the sprinklers fixed, and then I think he said they bought 50 pounds of grass seed to put in the outfield, and
Yeah,
they got in there, got it done
it
quick.
looks great. It looks really good.
And I noticed our fitness center owners are here again tonight. Thank you for showing up. Like to see more business people do show up.
You brought up the bus stop, I'm not sure, if you guys are all aware. Umpqua, the bus transit, that bus route coming down here has been axed.
Completely, it's the weekend.
No, completely, they didn't come on the weekends.
Oh, my
They're having
goodness.
problems
The
with
whole,
their board.
for financial reasons, they axed that whole route.
As of tomorrow, I believe,
As of the
last
15th.
That was great.
Today was about.
today, yeah.
Today was about day doing, so that's kind of a big deal for a lot of our citizens.
Yeah, that is.
So I don't know. There's nothing that we can do to, you have,
Well, I'm just wondering, is the transit tax that we pay on our taxes, is that what kind of funds that?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, any other way,
I'm not working, so.
so we pay a transit tax that was passed years ago, and it's whatever the percentage is, but it comes out of your payroll tax, I think, once a month.
0.04, right? That's a good point.
But it's been, it's like years, I'm just wondering if there's other funding that also supports the quad transit, or if it's directly paid, excuse me, from that tax.
That's a good question, I'd like to make.
Other funding, I am aware of it because they contracted, took over the Mercy Express services that provided medical transport. During the hospital, they do receive some other funding, most of it is federal funding. And then South Public, our transit tax. I was very surprised, but I don't know how many people, like, what the number of people using it was.
It was pretty high.
Substantial.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of.
So, then one, I think the question would be like, where's that actual, when we collect that transit tax? Or wherever it's collected, where's that specifically going, because that, this Umpqua, what's called in Umpqua?
Like transit district.
Is that that's not run by, that's like a.
No, they have their own board. They have their own board, it's private now.
So it'd be interesting to see, like, where our that funds were going, was it not going to that? bus?
Yeah, I don't wanna jump, I think maybe somebody knows and can put me on the right path, but I think there was some issues with that board.
Yes.
With the county commissioners and the board.
If that has
I think
anything
now
to do
there's
with what's going on.
They're having board problems. It's the biggest thing. You should volunteer to be on it.
So
Did they
that's.
No, it's.
Any route, the whole route south of Winston is gone.
Yeah, they call it the yellow route or something like
It's
that.
probably
The
yellow.
whole route is gone.
Cause we used to have a foreign exchange student who lived down here. She was accounting on that, and then all of a sudden I was doing some research, and I realized that I actually called them, they confirmed that it was gone. as of today, so, I'd be interested in kind of figure out. I mean, they said that they're gonna relook at that at the beginning of the year, so I'm not sure what that looks like, what that means, but, that's something to kind of consider looking into. I think that's important for us to be able to,
Yeah, we need that.
yeah, so I don't know what next steps would be for that.
Well, FYI, the commissioners said they are not getting involved at all.
Right.
So, they stepped totally back from it, and they're not gonna take it over again. Because the last time they took it on as a county, project, and then when U-Trans put the board together, they handed it off to them, they said they're not getting involved here. So.
Yeah, but anyway. Whatever, bring that up. That's all I got. Welcome Jamie, thank you for, again, for you guys, so. Susan, you have a question?
Well, I just wanna really quickly, Thursday, the challenge with the heroes is going on in Millside Park, our Myrtle Creek Police, our fire department, Myrtle, Tri-City, Candyville will all be down there, so come down, have dinner, support.
Mercy Foundation, violence prevention, child abuse, violence prevention and child
Oh,
abuse.
that reminds me, just before we go, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was made aware, and you can verify this, I was made aware that, Gross Stratton is one that's sponsoring that,
Yeah.
that down there. That she had to pay for the rental of the park for this event.
Council a couple of years ago had said they wanted to cancel waiving any fees. And then if people wanted to request it, they could come in and individually request. But it was stated to cancel waiving, like we don't waive them for, the churches that hold community services on Sunday. We could go back, like we did that at a time. It was just a couple of years ago, it was decided.
That was a couple of years ago. I'm just looking at this as, this is an event that involving all of our public resources,
Yeah.
the people out there that put their lives on the line for us. And
Didn't we waive them and then donate them back?
Yes, that was, well, we didn't waive them, we just made a donation to the event.
All right,
But if it's something that council wants to, it was just a decision by the council at that time. I think there had been a rash of requests for waivers, like one after the other, and they were like, that's enough.
so what was that about, the rental of
It's
that?
$125.
Well, I would make a motion that we donate $125 to the, challenge of the heroes.
And on the police side, please.
Split equally between the two departments. Split equally.
Second.
18,
We're out of order, I don't know.
I got your second.
So on the second, where would that money come from? Where you proposing the money come from?
We got it's a brand new year, we have council contingency funds, so through,
The council.
yes.
All in favor, aye,
Aye.
opposed nay?
Thank you for your contribution, Mercy Foundation.
Yeah.
Two more things real quick. So October 2nd is the Chamber of Commerce Open House at Dad's Garage at 4 o'clock. We're also gonna have the Visitor Center open for tours. And then we'll have our regular chamber meeting from 6 to 7 at Dad's Garage, which is gonna have a grand opening on the 27th of September. And also, Bob didn't mention this, but the Lions Club is planning their community Thanksgiving dinner again, so we're looking for donations of.
We still got October, it's not November yet.
It's through with everybody.
So, no, that's all I have.
So I have a question for Gail. Are you, like putting up, or Susan, sorry, thinking of the lady before, like sending messages to,
Joy.
to Gianna, for like events that come up to put on the sign that goes up
We will
there?
be when we get it fully opened and.
Yeah,
staff.
because you just went through so many things and I would love to
She can put
have
stuff on the
some.
fire department too.
If everyone notices, I have it up today.
Yeah,
I saw that.
so, yeah, that,
Yeah.
okay.
If anybody has any brochures, they could just bring it to Joanna and she can hang it in the windows or.
Yeah, that
Whatever.
sounds great,
Yeah.
cause there's so many things.
All right, I'm gonna close this meeting.
Send that information to the paper, get it in.